Okay, everybody, and welcome to the patch 13.21 review with your host, me. So, I have not been here for about a week, and I need to explain why I haven't been here for about a week, because many of you need an explanation. The explanation is I, unfortunately, was banned from YouTube for the most heinous acts, and you guys need to know about the allegations against me. I did, in fact, play the 2003 Star Wars Clone Wars montage for a minute. And my channel was shut down, and I received a copyright strike for it. But unfortunately, I do think that General Grievous was character assassinated by the third Star Wars movie, and actually he was so much cooler in the cartoon. But yeah, so for all you guys who are watching and wondering where I've been, that's what happened. When I told you all to watch me on Kick, it was because I knew something like this would happen because this always happens on YouTube. So for those of you who refuse to watch me on Kick, well, this is what happens. Thank you. Now let's get to the patch review, okay? So 13.21 patch review. Lots of buffs, lots of nerfs, lots of system changes, and some new skins. This separates it from all the other patches where this stuff has not happened. Nexus Blitz has come back. I will not be reading through all the Nexus Blitz stuff. You can go through it on your own time. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, up first on the patch note patch. We have Aurelian Soul, whose Q will now do less damage and scale less, and no longer have level scaling on its damage either. Why? Because he was overpowered or something. So yeah, that's what happened with Aurelian Soul. Yep, nothing really more to say here. When they made games last longer, he could scale more to get overpowered. Bel'Veth was not overpowered for one singular patch. So they're making her buffed again so that I guess she can be overpowered again. I don't know why. Nobody knows why. Does anyone actually have an explanation for this one? Because I sure don't. Basically, it seems to me that Bel'Veth was not overpowered, so Riot wants to make her overpowered. She wasn't even doing bad. She was like 50% win rate, which I guess is terrible when you're trying to prove how awesome your new champion designs are. You need to show that everyone must continue to play them. Okay. Brand has a whole sweeping list of changes here. Do I really need to go through all of them? I'm not really sure here. Basically, his base armor up, armor growth down. Okay, basically, he's tankier at level 1. That's just generally the idea. He's tankier at level 1, especially against physical damage. Not by like, oh my god, that much, but by a little bit. And so, what they're trying to do is make Brand able to jungle. So they're doing a bunch of changes to his like jungling. His passive now does like 220% damage to the jungle. I guess the intent here is they want him to jungle. I don't know why. They just want him to. I don't think there's any world where this can possibly end up being a good idea. Like, if Brand ends up actually able to jungle, I don't think that this will be a good end result. I think people will complain about him. I think maybe the idea is to let him like flex pick. I don't know. Like, I'm just sitting here, I'm wasting time because I literally can't think of any reason that they decided that of every champion in the game that Brand needs to be able to jungle. It just kind of hit me out of left field. Came out of nowhere, in fact. Just boom, one day Brand jungle. Brier is being nerfed because Brier is overpowered. Brier will continue to be overpowered. Why? Because Brier is very overpowered. They even gave her some weird compensation buffs here, which is odd to me. So her attack speed growth is down, but her W damage also scales worse, but she heals a little bit more. So basically, if for those of you who don't know, if Brier's bleed is on you, and you die, or if a minion dies, if anything dies with Brier's bleed on it, then she heals for the remaining bleed. She used to heal for 100%, now she heals for 125% of the remaining bleed. So they're giving her some weird compensation buff, which is weird because she was just overpowered, period, and really didn't need any compensation. But in return, less attack speed and less scaling on her W. Now, her W was that Giga Nuke she would do after she frenzied. So that thing was probably scaling a bit too hard. I think it was pretty common that, like, if Brier ever started getting fed, she would just, like, ka-chomp you from, like, a third health to dead. This nerf is very insignificant. This nerf is kind of significant. This buff is kind of significant. I'm not really sure what to say about this. And Caitlyn, okay. So, in effect, all these Caitlyn changes, because I'm going to try to explain them all rather than... What I'm trying to do throughout this video, tell me if you like it or if you don't like it. Instead of going into each individual specific change and just listing them off, instead I'm going to try to tell you like the general idea of what's happening here. So what they're trying to do here, Caitlyn will now scale more on critical chance on her passive, on her ultimate. So the more crit you build, the more your passive headshots will do, the more your ult, ace in the hole will do. But in return, the AD ratio is going down. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to make her build lethality builds less, and they're trying to make her build full crit builds more. Does everybody get that? So her ultimate also is going to a 90-second flat cooldown. Instead of 90 to 60, it's just 90 flat. So presumably the idea here is to make it so she can't just use her ultimate as a poke move, but now will be forced to use it basically only when she can get a kill, which, sure, whatever. That's about it for these changes. You can see the bonus damage from critical strike. Instead of 35% bonus damage for 100% crit, it's now 50% bonus damage for 100% crit. Okay. Dr. Mundo is being absolutely destroyed. An additional nerf that they slapped on here. So, like, yeah, I need to look up his win rate because I'm actually doing this a bit late, so I can actually look up his win rate a little bit. I'm wondering where Dr. Mundo has ended. Give me 1 second. Okay. So 49% after this change. Fair enough, which means at the low ranks, I'm assuming he's not even good at the low ranks anymore. Nope, even at the low ranks, he goes to 51%. So he's now generally unplayable. Anywhere outside of like bronze, this champion's just not playable anymore. So they did is the bonus damage he gets from his E. His E would do 2 to 4% of his health as damage. It now does 2 to 3% of his health and damage per auto attack. Yeah. Then the amount of damage he gets per missing health, he used to get 60% of this as like additional. They would go up to 60% more damage. Now it goes up to 40% more damage on missing health. So in addition to having less damage, just period, based on scaling, he now gets less damage when at low health by a good amount too. In other words, what I'm trying to say here is Dr. Mundo is Dr. Deadzo. The rock and roll crown. Okay. He cut him. Okay, Hecarim was maybe nerfed a little bit, and now they're buffing him a little bit. Okay. What they're trying to do with Hecarim here is to push him into building more like Divine Sunder or Trinity, and they're trying to not give him a buff that just like directly makes lethality builds better on him. So his attack damage growth is going from 3.2 to 3.6. That's a whole 0.5 more damage per level. That doesn't seem like a lot, and it's not really that much. It's like 9 damage more at level 18. But it does affect Trinity. That does affect auto-attacking. So, like, it's not, like, a bad buff, right? Then, because his W got gut into the ground, and it's basically not very much a good ability anymore, that's his healing, his Healy Orb thing. And I don't know if you're going to Orb Aura? That thing. The healing aura around him, the duration's going from 4 to 5. I'm going to be blunt. It's kind of nerfed into the ground. It went from like 30-40% healing down to like 20%. Ooh, boy, it lasts longer. Like, no one likes abilities that are just so weak. And this ability is just so weak right now. Cool. Jinx is getting nerfed. Why? Because she was really, 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 really dumb to fight. And if you ever lost one fight, she could clear your entire base and Nexus. Like, she could go from inhib turret to your Nexus in, like, God, how long was it? Like, 20 seconds tops? And I'm talking just solo. She wouldn't even need a team. If she had a team, she'd go faster. I'm talking she could just solo it. So, basically, epic monster kills and destroying structures will now grant the first stack of Get Excited and will refresh the buff. But only champion takedowns can increase the amount of stacks. So, her passive if she kills a champion that kills a tower, instead of going from 1 stack to 2, she goes from 1 stack to 1 and just refreshes it. She can go from 0 stacks to 1 stack by killing a turret, but she can't like kill she can't just like kill the turret, the nexus, you know, she can't basically get to 9 stacks is what they're trying to say. The most stacks she can get period is 5. Yeah, and this is it. Jinx can only get 5 stacks to get excited, which is, they're just kind of clarifying it for everyone that doesn't understand. Okay. Because SANTE has been buffed a lot. He is now giganormous. He might be one of the most broken champions in all League history right now. He's almost as strong as Yone. So, what they're doing for Cosante, his passive damage now scales. But Freak will say, but that means he has scaling % health true damage. That's never been done in League of Legends before. No. He's just, if you guys don't get the joke, he originally Freak nerfed Cosante's ultimate passive into the ground because he was like, it's scaling % health true damage, which, like, the thing is, yes, it was, but it would scale from like 2% to 3%. Like, it was so utterly insignificant. It wasn't really that big a deal. The big deal was the flat damage that was on his passive hits. Like, and so the problem is they just nerfed the champion into the ground unrelentingly. Now they're buffing him. They buffed him a bit too much, but we'll see. So his passive now goes from 35% to 45 to 75% in his passive. This right here is probably the biggest buff they did for seemingly no reason. Remember when Ride Freak said that he wanted to like push people into building a health item third and not just going Gargoyle Stoneplate? He achieved that by making it so your health from your W, or sorry, your health into your Q caps at 2 items. So you don't need to go a third health item. What I'm trying to say here is he literally did this whole narcissistic little, you guys should build a health item third. Yeah. And then they buffed it so you don't even need a health item third anymore. 1200. For those of you in the audience, and maybe Ride Freak, and maybe other people who are watching me right now, you might think to yourself, yeah, you will need 3 health items to get to 1200. Yeah, I'm a very smart individual. No, you won't. Because the first is Iceborne Gauntlet. That's 400. The second is Sunfire with the Mythic passive from Iceborne. That's 950. 950. Now you're only 250 health off capping the cast time on your Q from health. 250. That's some grass procs and the Resolve tree right there. And boom, you've capped it. Literally going to a third health item does nothing anymore. It does not decrease the cast time on your Q. This buff was so actually kind of insane. I do not understand why they actually did this. It's a bit silly, if you ask me. It kind of came out of nowhere and doesn't really make any sense. I don't know why they did it. I don't know. W Pathmaker will no longer interrupt Cosante's E dash when the channeling starts. Okay, so I'm gonna need to actually bring this up because some of you won't understand this. So I'm going to need to actually launch League of Legends to show some of you guys what this means. While this is launching, I'm going to go through the list here. You can now hold the channel to 1.5 seconds instead of, basically, your W completes its channel in like 0.55 seconds or 0.65 or whatever they put it at. But you can now hold it for longer to 1.5 seconds. It's not really that big a deal. Not really. But I will show you right now. Outside of the bugs the champion has, I'm not going to go through his bugs at all. I'm not going to talk about that. We're just going specifically only to intended changes. Okay. His Q and E when he's in his ultimate now instantly reset his attack. For some weird reason, they did not instantly reset his attack. Instead, what they did is they put it onto a 0.1 second timer. So if you autoed, then queued, then autoed, instead of being instant, there would be a 0.1 second before you could use it. Okay, so let me try to explain how stupid this change is, and you know, let me really get this in on here. If I can do it right, if I can't do it right, because I'm sometimes bad, but let me. So basically, what you can do. Oh, okay, see, sometimes I'm trying to do it properly. He goes. So what you can do now is you can start your E, then W in the middle of your E, which allows you to now have unstoppable gap closers. What does that mean? That means if Viger puts up a wall here, I can EW, immune the stun in the wall, then charge through it. That means if Jinx puts up traps, I can EW through the traps, go unstoppable, and jump through it. So... yeah.
Minions have spawned.
Little bit of an issue with the change they did here. I needed to show you guys because some of you guys wouldn't be able to understand it unless you visually like saw it, because it makes sense once you visually see it. But yes, you can now E then W instantly as you E, and you can immune through things. It's very interesting. It also means you can like E to a minion, start your W as you're dashing, then like unload. It just, some of these changes have just been very odd, and I'm not sure why they did them. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. LeBlanc is getting an AP ratio increase on her W and an AP ratio increase on her E, which means a lot of damage. LeBlanc apparently was very underpowered after they nerfed everything about her. I didn't know why. I was shocked when they nerfed everything about LeBlanc. But they've decided the best thing to buff on this champion is her damage, because LeBlanc didn't do enough damage. I know what you're saying. What? Yeah, me too. Okay, sure. Master Yi is being buffed because anyway, he's being buffed. His cooldown on his Wuju style, that's his true damage on his auto attacks. You know, you go shoom, 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 and he would auto attack you for true damage. The cooldown on that is going from 18 to 14. So he can now clear the jungle faster. He can trade much better in lane. He can do a lot of stuff better. Morgana's getting buffed. You know, I love Morgana. I think she's hot. I like this champion. Very cool. Very cool. Would date. Okay. On the other hand, why are they buffing her so much? She's so annoying to fight. It's like, she's like all red flags, chat. She's so hot, but it's all red flags with this champion. So they're buffing the amount of damage her Tormented Soil does. That's obviously the black, you know, the when she makes the ground do damage to you. You all understand that? Okay. That's getting more base damage. Then her damage to monsters modifier in it is also going up. Very frustrating champion. Here's the thing, if Morgana actually does become a viable jungler, the entire game will be worse. All of League of Legends will suffer. I don't know why they're trying to push so many champions into the jungle, especially champions who will be, like, the game will be a worse game. League of Legends will be a worse game if Morgana is viable in the jungle. So, I don't quite understand why we're trying to push it. Okay. Rammus, basically, there was a problem. Well, I don't know if you want to call it a problem. They buffed the amount of damage that resistances do to the jungle from your pet. So rather than make it so, I don't know, just hypothetically, the defensive ball curl didn't give resistances anymore, which would be the smartest thing to do. Maybe it just gave % damage reduction or something. I don't know, but maybe they could have made it not apply to the pet either. I don't know. Instead of that, because they made the pet take your resistances into regard when doing damage to the jungle, this meant that Rammus now giga damages the jungle and became very overpowered. So he decided to nerf the base damage on his Q and then nerf the resistances in his W. Then nerf the scaling on his W. Seems a bit unfair, right? Why? Sarah Queen. Okay, I'm gonna have to read through all this. Hopefully they explain it better than me. Despite initially creating her as a mid laner, players have overwhelmingly spoken via Champion Select that they enjoy Seraphine's support as her primary playstyle, despite it not being very strong by the numbers. With her current tuning, we can't buff her, as bot lane AP carry Seraphine is about as strong as we're comfortable with. She's borderline overpowered. She's probably a bit overpowered. It's just you have to actually be good at her. I know people like to say, good with Seraphine. I hate their champion. You can't be good with her. She's so easy. Yeah, unfortunately, a poke champion with very little mobility, who was also kind of like supposed to be sort of carry style, tended to be harder to play, but when you did get good at her, she was quite good. So Riot didn't want to like push that, because then you'd end up with Ziggs and Ziggs 2, pink-haired singer. So they didn't really want to push Ziggs 2, okay? And so, yeah. This patch, we're attempting to bring AP carry, support, and mid Seraphine closer together in power. Our goal is to allow all her builds to be strong and express her strengths in different ways. As always, if we overshoot our changes, we'll walk back some next patch. We got a few changes here. First, we're aligning her base stats to those of other enchanters, which means having an early reliance on mana regeneration, which encourages her to pick up spell thieves and other similar support items. By shifting her durability from health into armor, she synergizes better with her own shields and other enchanter items that Seraphine commonly buys, like Echoes of Helia. Secondly, we're moving her power budget away from AP ratios and into base power. As supports get less gold than other roles, more reliable base damage tends to help them out a lot. By reducing her cooldowns, she'll also apply enchanter items like Echoes of Helia and Ardent Censer more reliably. Third, we're reallocating some power towards solo lane specific areas and away from grouped up power. Significantly buffing E's rank up makes late game levels grant more damage. W's heal, which not only heals each champion in the area, but ramps its heal based on the number of champions nearby, is receiving a nerf, which disproportionately affects lanes where she's grouped. The end result we're aiming is for a Seraphine that is a strong support and bot laner, with those as her primary roles and sets where most players want to play her. That said, we also have some changes aimed at retaining some of her mid lane power for a small but dedicated player base that wants to continue to play her there. Okay, whatever. End result of all these changes, summation of everything I just said here, is that they want bot Seraphine to be better because, oh, shockingly, her support, like her passive scales with having a player nearby, and her W scales with having a player nearby. Shockingly, this means she's generally better with a player nearby. Okay, bunch of changes here. More base armor, less health, mana regen nerf, health nerf, attack speed growth up for some reason. I guess to make her passive animate faster when she auto attacks. Her Q cooldown is going down early game, same late game. AP ratio slashed, gut, slaughtered, massacred, obliterated. But in return, her Q, the base damage is going up. So this equalizes at by about 300 AP, you'll be doing less damage. Below 300 AP, you'll be doing more damage, as long as you max your Q. Her W is losing the AP ratio entirely on the heal, and the heal base amount is being gut, slashed, obliterated, discriminated against. The cooldown is going down if you max it. The shield is going up baseline a little bit. Okay. Then her E mana cost is going down if you max it. The base damage is going up if you max it. Everybody get it? Seraphine Q poke, gut, dead, gone, obliterated, destroyed, annihilated. Seraphine heal, gut, dead, gone, nerfed, obliterated. At max rank, you will heal 5% missing health. To keep this in perspective, a single tentacle from Ilaoi will heal more than everything Seraphine does. Got it? Okay. Tommy Boy Kenchituni. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a suggestion here. Every one of you should start playing Tom Kench. I looked at the numbers, chat. I saw the data. I looked at the spread. Tom Kench top is actually pretty good right now. Is he overpowered? I don't know. Is he good? He's doing pretty good right now. Okay, so what did they do to Tommy Boy Kenchituni? Tommy Boy Kenchituni went from a 3% bonus health ratio on his passive to a 5% bonus health ratio on his passive. Gosh darn, those are some shriekingly high numbers. The base damage went down by a little bit, but who cares? The bonus health ratio, wowie, zowie, powie. Big numbers right there. Varus, got some buffs as well. The amount of damage a Blighted Quiver does went up by 4 if you max it. Then the slow on his E also went up. Okay. Nothing really to say about that. Zyra is also trying to be pushed into the jungle. Wow, you might be saying to yourself, Zyra in the jungle? Why? I had the same question. Why, right? Literally, actually, fundamentally, why? 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 Is it just because she hasn't been viable anywhere else in a while? So you're like, screw it, jungle. What's next? Top? You tried everything else. You tried bot, support, mid. Now you're trying jungle. Oh, God, I don't want top. Oh, no. They're going to do that, aren't they? By this time next year, they're going to be trying top Zyra. Okay. Enchanter proc damage changes. Okay, so basically what they're doing... Their proc damage sources count as their own damage, but attribute kills to the buffed allies. Okay, so what they're doing here is they should be making it so that if an ally gets a kill with an enchanter's damage, so if an ally gets a kill with Nami's E, or with Renata's passive, or Lulu's picks, anything like that, if an ally gets a kill with that, it gives a kill to an ally rather than giving it to the enchanter. Everybody got it? Okay. I'm not going through the Zyra changes, by the way. Some of you guys might want to know. Basically, for those of you solo lane Zyras, her Q damage is up. Her E damage is down. Her AP ratios are up. I don't know either. You're probably thinking, but why? I don't know. I think they just wanted to nerf the base damage on her E to nerf Zyra's support really hard. I think that's what they're trying to do. They're nerfing the base damage on her E. It's a bunch of very little changes that I don't know. It just seems to be a nerf to support Zyra. It's not going to make jungle Zyra viable. It's not going to make jungle Zyra viable. It's just going to make support Zyra bad. Got it? Okay. Hullbreaker nerfed. Why? I don't know. I guess people didn't like it. I don't really think it was overpowered. I just thought it was annoying sometimes to fight. I don't really think it was overpowered though. So, cool. I don't know. The armor you get instead of 10 to 75 goes 10 to 60. That's it. Then it's half of that for ranged. So, yay. Or not yay. I don't know. I think the problem was maybe that Yone was really overpowered. Sante is monstrously overtuned. He is now half the power level of Yone. Sante might, in his current state, be one of the most broken champions in all league history. This puts him almost at half of Yone's power level. So we nerfed Hullbreaker. I don't know. First strike, nerfed. Why? It was overpowered. Why? Because they nerfed every keystone damage in the game, but they really didn't nerf first strikes enough. That's basically it. That's kind of the problem. The issue is they nerfed the scaling on every other keystone, but first strike just got, like, because first strike just magnifies your damage. It used to be 9%, they reduced it to 8%. Like, electrocute went from a 25% AP ratio to a 10%, which is a lot of scaling reduced, right? And so first strike's going from 8% down to 7% to nerf it. Okay. Phase rush on melee champion is going from 30 to 60% movement speed to 25 to 50%. Why? Garen. That's it. It's literally just Garen. No one else. It's literally only Garen. Basically, the thing is that what Riot wants is for Garen to not be really annoying. They watched Worlds, they saw a bunch of people playing solo queue, and they thought, oh god, that's so annoying. Jungle sustain adjustments. By the way, Riot, if phase rush being viable is annoying, you know what we could do? What if we changed phase rush to not just give you slow immunity? Wouldn't that be funny, right? Wouldn't that be funny, right? Wouldn't that be funny, right? If phase rush wasn't the most annoying keystone in the game, right? Okay. Jungle sustain adjustments. I'm just gonna have to read through these because there's a bunch of changes that are very minute. Last patch, we made meaningful gains in lowering the jungle's power level in how games played out, but unfortunately this also resulted in junglers having less fun in the role. Shocking. That said, we're looking to revert or buff some of the things that were nerfed in 13.20. Our main goal here is to return safety to the jungle, which means that junglers will have higher health pools when they gank. It's important that they feel like obtaining their primary source of income by farming camps is roughly as safe as laners farming their waves. Since when is farming my lane safe? What? Half my games, I have a murder crocodile sitting across the lane, just sitting there sharpening it, being like, if you walk next to this lane, I'm gonna kill you. I will stab you. I will stun you. I will remove 2/3 your health in that stun. And they're like, wow, that's so safe. Then a jungler farms a jungle, heals to full, and they're like, no. Half my games, I have some ranged bullshit sitting across a lane being like, if you come to this side of the lane, I will damage you. And I'm like, but that's where all the minions are. And they're like, I know. Speaking more broadly to our goals with all the changes in the last patch landed, we're happy that laners have relatively more stats in the early game, that jungle tanks have fallback patterns of farming, that junglers spend a bit more time in their jungle between ganks, and that junglers have fewer role-specific strengths not tied to the champion kits. What? So you're just buffing the jungle back. There was one patch where junglers were only the strongest role, so you decided that, damn it, they're only the strongest role in the game. They need to be even stronger than that. Yeah, you know what? It's going to make the jungle less fun to play. It will. I promise you, it will make the jungle less fun to play when it doesn't have the power of 2 other roles combined. Jesus, right? Bunch of changes here that don't matter. Bug fixes. Okay. The success threshold for an early AFK surrendered has been lowered from 100% to 70%. That's not really a quality of life change, but okay. This should mean that if someone AFKs, 3 people of the 4 remaining can now force a surrender rather than needing 4 people to force a surrender. I don't know why you needed all 4 people. I mean, it's a 4v5, right? So like reasonably, there's not much you can do. Okay, whatever. Yeah, I mean, why not? Why didn't they just phrase it like, why not phrase it, you only need 3 people to surrender from an AFK rather than needing all 4? Why? The success threshold for an early AFK surrender has been lowered from 100% to 70%. Like, oh, cool. What does that mean? I shouldn't need to have to translate your patch notes. They should just be the patch note. Whatever. Made adjustments to come, I don't care. Okay. Fixed a bug that caused Fiora's passive to ignore Shen's W dodge. This one's actually kind of a big deal. And, well, I shouldn't say a big deal. It was a deal. It was annoying. People generally did not like having to deal with this thing. Okay. He fixed a bug that caused Trinimir's E hitbox to be much smaller than intended. Wait, did they seriously not fix this until the next patch? That's really, really funny and sad. Fixed a bug that caused Shen singed Q to not properly stack Conqueror. They didn't hotfix that? They just waited till the next patch? Boy, man, if you are not Yasuo or Yone, your champion could literally just automatically lose the game if you lock them in. You literally just lock it in and it goes, defeat! And you're like, what? And you just lose 25 LP, and Riot will be like, we'll fix that next patch. Yasuo could be like, yeah, my 15th skin has a little bit of a difference on the visuals. And Riot will be like, very good, sir. Hotfixing that right away, sir. Fixed a bug that caused Vex's R projectile to not damage enemy champions or monsters. Yasuo players be like, yeah, man, one of my skins, it just doesn't look very good. Could you hotfix it? I'll be like, yes, sir. Very good, sir. Vex's R is like, my ultimate doesn't do damage to minions right now. Right? It's like, wait till next patch, bitch. Jesus Christ. Fixed a bug that causes Melio's R to not cleanse Renata's Berserk. These aren't really bugs. These are actually very big deals. Wait, so Melio couldn't cleanse Renata ult? Trinimir's E couldn't hit champions? Sinch's Q didn't stack Conqueror? Vex's R didn't damage minions? The fuck, Riot? Fixed a bug that causes Ivern W passive damage to not trigger when attacking epic monsters. Ivern sat an entire patch being unable to do Dragon and Baron? What? I'm reading through the rest of these. What? Literally, what? And they had to wait an entire patch for this, Riot? Okay. Time for the skins. What do we got here for skinny skins? Boop. Cafe Cuties Rumble. I mean, I guess it kind of looks cute. I'll give it that, right? Like, I'm not sure this is what Rumble players want. I'm still waiting for my Timberwolf Rumble. I mean, seriously? Where's my Timberwolf Rumble? Right? Where's my Timberwolf Rumble, Riot? Okay, you guys better not DMCA me for showing the Timberwolf, by the way. This has happened before. This company in particular has done this before. I'm just showing your goddamn mech. Okay, Cafe Cuties Jinx. I don't like it. I actually just don't like it. It looks dumb. I don't like it. The Rumble one was kind of cute. Like, I get it. He's like a little marshmallow puff, right? Like, it's cute, right? But like this one? I don't like it. I actually just don't like it. Cafe Cuties Poppy. Once again, I kind of just don't like it. Yeah, I really actually just don't like it. I don't know what to say. It's just like once I see it, I'm just like, no. Cafe Cuties Lulu. Okay, it's probably better than the other three simply because I really like Pix being a tiger cupcake that goes, yeah. That gets it some points. I like that. That's really adorable. I don't really know what they're doing with the rest of the skin. What is going on here? I feel like Cafe Cuties Gwen had like a thing, and this one I just don't like it. Let's see it in game though. Coven Syndra. It's Syndra, guys. It's if it's if Syndra was an evil witch. It's Syndra. Where's my brand? What if Brand was on fire? Let's look at the in-game. Okay, this one I like and is actually really funny. I actually like this one a lot. Yeah, I like this one a lot. This one's actually really good. I like this one. It's like one of the only skins I've reviewed in months that I'm like, damn, that's a good looking skin, dude. Oh, he shoots a flame out of his little teacup? Oh, that's funny. Okay, fine. Fine, right? You win. You win. I actually like it. Cafe Cuties Jinx. No. Hate it. Still hate it. It's terrible. No, I actually don't like it. I actually just don't like it. I actually think it looks bad. This isn't like a middle ground. I think it literally just looks bad. What were they going for? Are they just trying to show off her thighs? Do they know what Jinx looks like in vanilla? Because, like, she kind of shows off a lot of skin. What is the purpose of this? I'm going to be honest. This chroma might be the best one. Because, like, they put a ribbon on her leg instead of just doing the thigh highs. So, like, at least... But I don't get it. I feel like... Okay, I feel like the problem is... It should have been, like, deranged or something. Like, the outfit should have been ripped or something. It shouldn't just have been Jinx in a maid outfit. It just looks bad. I just don't like it. Cafe Cuties Poppy. Once again, I kind of just don't like it. It's just, what if Poppy, but in a maid outfit? It's not doing it for me at all. This one's cool. And right there. I mean, that's just a cool French maid. I mean, that one's, I like that one, right? Like, that one's cute. I like the coloring and all that. The other ones, they just, I don't like it. Cafe Cuties Lulu. Okay, I can't see pics, so my opinion is immediately being destroyed. I hate it because I can't see pics. The only good thing about this was that it was pics. I don't like it. I don't like how it looks. I will say this. I think it's better than the other one simply because they gave her some like highlights with her hair. So at least it has like different visuals. It's got like coloring and stuff. I'll say of the three, Lulu is probably my favorite. Of the three, I think they all don't really look that good, but Lulu at least looks tolerable. The other three are pretty bad. Syndra. It's Syndra if she was an evil witch. Syndra. I don't know either. Isn't that just Syndra right there? That chroma is just Syndra. That's just Syndra. What? Okay. Honest to God, I don't really think much of it. Am I being too picky? I like the Rumble one. The Rumble one is adorable. I like this one because it's actually like shooting the flame out of the teacup. That's perfect, right? But like this, what even is this? What are you going for? What's your design? What's the aesthetic? What's the pattern? What are you doing? You're just churning stuff out at this point. You're just churning. Okay. Well, that's it for my video. As always, make sure to subscribe to Hashinshin, both the channel and my Patreon, or become a YouTube member. For my Patreon members, because you guys are amazing and I love all of you, and I think that all of you should go to my Patreon at patreon.com/Hashinshin. But starting from the top and then going to the bottom. Thank you. This isn't right. This is right. Sorry, I was about to read something wrong because I went to the wrong list because they made the website more confusing. Okay, thank you. At Super Cultist, Monica and Stefan Ortman. At Superfan, Blazenrock, Deep the Heretic, and T the Fish. At Not a Cultist Deluxe, thank you Alex Tennant, Amzarine, Christoph Mark, Skinny Shelber, Horace the Burb God, Pancho Rodriguez, Tenchi Kanashisa, Destroy, Sebastian. At Cultist, sorry, not Cultist here. Thank you Ben G, Creador, Daniel Fiala, Daruda, Yadgod, Fanaku, Fulyuki, Gwen Mato, Hansen, Hoon Arthur, Jordan Panning, Justicier, Kalfos Zeramar, Kajubi, Ludwig III, Manuel, Metal M. Morgan, Nathaniel Mingham, Negative KDA, Nitro Yoshi 9, OMG Clover, Oz, PBNJ, Radati, Scorpion, Scott Shapiro, Suki02, Terra, Uvo Plaja, Veno, Vivian, WLC League of Legends, Wolfman, Jan, and Noxie and Scion, what they call the free tier. I'm not sure why he got his own tier called free. Okay. Huh. Thank you, everybody. And as always, make sure to like, leave a comment, and have a great rest of your day. Goodbye, everybody.